Veterans, transitioning service members, military members, thank you for your service to our country. Today, we're going to be talking about, can you collect VA disability and work? This is a very important topic. Thank you for tuning in. Like, subscribe, comment, hit that notification bell, share this out with someone that can use this information. Everyone has probably seen the headlines for Veteran Harold in Kentucky. It was just on the CivDiv. As well, there was an interview with him, and unfortunately, he ended up getting arrested. He was on individual unemployability, and the VA just felt that he was warranted an OIG investigation and that he was working outside the confines of his limitations. And they came, interviewed him, and it just wasn't the best time for his family. I don't agree with everything and the decisioning of that. However, it brings up an important topic, and I want to talk about it. Can you collect VA disability and work? It's very important to know what you can and cannot do. And I always want to tell you before we get going into this, work within the confines of your limitations. If you cannot do something, then do not do it. Okay. If you're saying that you have something, if you're saying you can't leave the home, but you're leaving the home every single day and you're a manager somewhere, be careful of that. Okay. Don't go around proclaiming your benefits to every single person. Okay. You can't trust everybody, unfortunately. Okay. And it's just very important to take that into consideration. So many veterans often wonder, can you work while receiving VA disability benefits? And the short answer is yes. There are important rules and exceptions to understand, especially if you're receiving. This is very important. This is what Mr. Harrell was on, temporary disability based on individual unemployability. So I'm going to break down what means that you can work. What is VA disability compensation, right? What is it really defined as? And what are the differences between the permanent and total, the individual unemployability, and what qualifies you to work while on individual unemployability as well? Before we get going into this, I am absolutely not a fan of individual unemployability. If you do not need to file for it, try to get there naturally or organically as high as you can go, honestly and integrally. And if you can get to 100%, get there. If you need to secondary something, do it. If you need to increase something, do it if it warrants it. Okay. It's very important to know that. So the key points we're going to kind of tackle today are schedular VA disability ratings, right? Permanent and total ratings, total disability based on individual unemployability, and what is marginal and sheltered employment exceptions. You guys need to know that because veterans receiving TDIU, if you're on TDIU and listening to this, may work under marginal employment, below poverty level, or in sheltered work environments without losing benefits. Okay. However, I would be very, very cautious with that. And I'll tell you why here in a moment. So can you work while collecting VA disability benefits? Yeah, you can. You can work with the scheduler VA disability rating, whether it's 10, 50, or even 100. You are allowed to work without restrictions, but work within the confines of your limitations. If you're saying that you have a back issue, but yet you're humping shingles, humping up a ladder, humping up on the top of a roof, and you're bending, and you're a personal trainer and training someone and doing all of this stuff, you need to be very, very, very careful on that. If you're saying that you can do something and then you're working outside the confines of your limitations, you got to be very careful on that. So your ability to earn income does not affect your VA disability compensation. It's very important to know that. Scheduler disability ratings, veterans can work full-time or part-time without restrictions. You can work full-time or part-time without restrictions, but work within the confines of your limitations. If you're saying you don't like crowds and all this stuff, but yet you're the manager at a theme park and you're in the middle of the crowd and you're interacting with the crowd and everything, like that just doesn't look right, so be very careful on those things. Can you work with 100% VA disability rating? Yeah, you can. Like I just said, you can work without any restrictions or limitations if it organically is 100% rating. Whether you work full-time, part-time, or not at all, your disability compensation does remain protected. Okay. But something that is important to notate is that a 100% scheduler rating is based solely on the severity of your service-connected conditions, not your ability to work. Remember, VA income is replacement income. Okay. If you hurt your ankle while you're on active duty, say from 2010 to 2020, then you report it, you're going to get service connection most likely. And the reason being is they're going to rate it based on the severity of that ankle condition. But if it gets worse and you got to start missing work after you get out after 2020, in this example, let's say 2024, your ankle starts to bother you more. Well, because of that condition that occurred on active duty and that disability or that injury, you're going to have to start going to doctor's appointments. You may have to start missing work, and it may get worse where you can't walk on it and you may end up not being able to work anymore. It happens. If that does happen, then you want to be getting rated for that. You don't want to be coming after the fact trying to prove service connection. So it's replacement income. It's not the disability. True disability, social security disability, is based off of you've hit that retirement age, that 62 plus retirement age, and or you cannot work because you had a disability rating while on the job, and you've proved that you cannot work and maintain substantially gainful employment, and there's a lot of hoops you got to go through. That is totally separate from VA disability. VA disability is a benefit that you get if something happened while you're on service. You want to be seen for it, and you want to file for it, and you want to continue to get the care for whatever that condition is, mental health, musculoskeletal, whatever that is, so that you're protected later on down the road if that condition gets worse, right? And the difference that you did is you served. And this is one of the benefits that we get, which is awesome. As you're, whether you did 3 years, 2 months, 20 years in service, this is why these VA disability benefits are here. But it's important for you to be honest, to be open, and don't work outside the confines of your limitations. Okay, so whether you work full-time, part-time, or not at all, your disability compensation remains protected, right? The schedular rating 100% is based solely on the severity of your service-connected conditions, not your ability to work. Your employment should not trigger a reevaluation of your VA disability rating or benefits. Permanent in total, you are allowed to work with a permanent in total rating. For example, you could have a six-figure income from your job and have 100% P&T VA rating. The P&T designation means your condition is unlikely to prove, and you are protected unless it's fraudulent from routine reevaluations. But things to keep in mind: working will not affect your 100% permanent and total status. Many veterans with P&T ratings pursue jobs with flexible schedules or accommodations that fit their physical or mental limitations. Okay, you need to keep that in mind. Find something that works within the confines of your limitations, of if that's PTSD, musculoskeletal, or whatever your injury is. Can you work? This is very important on TDIU, total disability based on individual unemployability. Yeah, you can work, but you face way stricter guidelines or rules when it comes to employment. TDIU provides benefits at the 100 disability percent rating, even though you're not 100%, right? You may be 80, you're tired of fighting it, and you put in an IU form, you submit it in, and you get approved for it. But look, they do their research to make sure that you ain't been working. They look at your income tax. They look at a plethora of things to make sure that you have not been. If they grant it to you, then, you know, you need to be very careful. Okay. And I'm about to go over what you can do on IU. I don't suggest it. And the next thing is, I'm not a fan of IU, as I said at the beginning of this. If you don't need to file for individual unemployability, don't do it, because it limits you. Okay. And if things get hard later on and the economy goes crazy, and you do need to start working and stuff like that, red flag could go up, and I just don't advise it, and I don't like it. The only situation I would recommend doing individual unemployability is if you're an older veteran and you're not looking to pursue a career, and you're getting your Social Security, and maybe you're retired or whatnot, and you're at 60, 70%, and you're just tired of fighting it. You're tired of it, and you're just older. And if you can't get it any other way, then maybe this is a means to file for it to get to 100%. That can help you, okay? Because you're not looking for any accolades or to start any new careers or jobs anytime soon. You're looking to just sell off in the sunset, chill in your recliner, and call it a day, okay? If that's you, then the IU could be for you. But again, if you don't need to go that route, don't go that route. So again, working while on TDIU can put your benefits at risk if your job exceeds marginal employment thresholds. Substantially gainful employment is defined here by it says work that provides an income above the federal poverty threshold. So next question: what is the poverty threshold in 2024? Right now, it is $15,060 for one person. $15,060 for one person. If you make above that, you make above the poverty threshold, your temporary disability, individual unemployability is put at risk. Income above this level can jeopardize your TDIU eligibility. It looks fraudulent, and they can take away your benefits, or you can be in a lot of debt. Marginal employment and sheltered work environments. I want to talk about these things. Marginal employment means jobs where, again, earnings are below the poverty threshold, $15,060 as of the filming of this video in 2024. Sheltered employment. You can work in a family business or an environment that accommodates disabilities beyond standard workplace practices. Okay. But again, you don't want to work outside the confines of your limitations. I don't know what that job is. So yeah, you can work in a family business, but if you're saying that you have a back issue and PTSD, and yet your family business is working all in these crowded environments, and you're hauling lumber over your back, and you're a lumberjack, but your back hurts. I mean, you get where I'm going with this. You need to be careful. Even though you can do it, I don't advise it. You know, just be careful. I mean, Veteran Harold in Kentucky was not even making income supposedly, and according even to the court documents, but he still got in trouble. He still got in trouble because of it. So just be very careful on what you do. The government takes these things very serious, and they're looking for this fraudulent stuff. The Office of Inspector General is, and less is more with people. Don't tell anybody more than they need to know about you and your life. That's between you, your service, and just keep those things to a minimum with people. I highly advise that. Okay. So again, marginal employment, sheltered employment, right? You can't make above the poverty threshold, $15,060 as of the filming of this video. Sheltered employment, you can work in a family business or an environment that accommodates your VA disabilities, but I'd be careful on it, okay? So I just really want to make that point that if you don't need to file for individual unemployability, don't do it. If you're filing a claim, get the proper help that you need. Evidence, continuation of care, get the proper nexus letters, get those things that you need to be in the best position. I would secondary something before I'm filing for individual unemployability. Remember, if you're going to secondary something, you need diagnosis, nexus, DBQ. If you do need that, look in the description of this video. There are honest, integral doctors that will research everything thoroughly before saying yay or nay to writing you a nexus letter. Dr. Prashant, Dr. Lopez, anybody, Dr. Patel, any of the doctors here that can put you in the best position to win your claim will do so honestly, integrally, and will not charge a dime to you. It's between you and them. Before moving forward with your claim. And if they cannot do something, they'll just let you know. And if they need additional evidence, they'll let you know what is needed. But get the benefits that you deserve. Be very careful. Less is more. I don't advise going for individual unemployability. And I really hope that this video helps you. Happy holidays to you and your family. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Off the Battlefield podcast presented by Veterans Claim Servants. Thank you for your service to our country. Till next time, I'm out. Bye-bye.